Welcome to Real Talk Real Women. My name is Miriam Khalladi and today we have Theresa, Jenn and Lopetrone from Vancouver, Canada on the show. Welcome Theresa, how are you?
Thank you. I'm very good.
Great. I had the great pleasure to interview your coach Fatima and she told me about your incredible transformation. Looking at your picture now, I can't believe that there was a point where you were 175 pounds. Tell us about that time in your life.
Okay, sure. It's funny that you say it's hard to believe that I was 175 pounds because even now, when I look back at that, I think, wow, like it's such a difference between now and then. It took a long, long time to do the external and the internal change, but I'm a stress eater, and I kind of always have been. So I discovered that in my last year of university when I was getting highly stressed, and my drug of choice was going to food, but not clean food, of course, chips and cheese and all the things that we might think about that we know aren't good for us. And within a few months, I think it was 40 pounds that I had put on in my last year of university. So it was one day I went to go put on a pair of jeans that were known as my fat jeans, except they didn't go past my hips. And that was the point where, well, actually my thighs, and that was the point where I realized, I've gone a little too far.
When did you decide to make a shift and what was the first thing you did?
Well, the shift happened several times. It was go and stop for a long time. So the first thing that really ignited my interest in health and fitness was reading Oxygen magazine. So reading that and seeing the cover women, but also the women in the feature, but also the women in the back, the future of fitness. Seeing those women who, lived regular lives, but they were able to do it. So that was the first thing that really inspired me and gave me a spark. And then eventually through that, I learned about the Eat Clean diet through Toscarino. So we started implementing things like eating 2 to 3 hours and eating, things that were clean. I started understanding what that meant, but I wasn't consistent. So I was trying things, but then on the weekend, I was a weekend warrior. I would eat all the junk that I didn't eat Monday to Friday, and my workout schedule wasn't consistent either. So I was always kind of yo-yoing. Um, and then I gained that to 140 pounds up to, so it's 175 pounds. And I went through a whole year of transformation, working really hard on everything, and brought my weight back down to the original weight. Got into CrossFit a few years later, started seeing some significant changes in my body, and I thought, maybe I could do a fitness competition. And that's when I started my research with the fitness industry and came along my coach, Fatima.
Great.
And I contacted her for several months, inquiring and then going back and forth. And I know she never thought I was going to sign up, but I eventually did.
Great. And of course, then you met your coach Fatima. How did that change things for you?
Well, it changed things dramatically because one, I was forced to face the reality of me not being consistent. And I think that was the biggest piece. I have the motivation inside, I have the dedication, and really at the end of the day, it's a choice. And it's your mind that's controlling everything. So once you have a handle on that, you can keep on going. But what changed significantly, because I had my check-ins with her, we would reevaluate where I was, and she taught me how to be consistent, how to eat enough. And I realized once I signed up with her, I actually wasn't. I was under eating on proteins, I was under eating on carbs and healthy fats, because those are two things I always felt would make me fat. And of course, that's not the case because now I'm eating more healthy fats and carbs and protein than I ever have, and I'm in the best shape that I ever have been.
Great. What is the biggest lesson you learned from Fatima, and how did that help you?
The biggest lesson. Well, I think the biggest lesson would be the amount of work I put in is what I will receive in return. And it's almost been 2 years now that I've been with Fatima and the team, and that's what I've learned. Is there have been times in my off season where I haven't put in enough work, and I've seen the results coming back and realized, okay, So it truly is. It's the amount of work you put in, it's the amount of dedication, and that's what Fatima has taught me. Um, she doesn't only talk about it with us and the clients and the team, she practices it daily. So to see that's why it's so much more believable, and that's where my faith lies, because I see she is 365 days a year. She lives this healthy lifestyle, and she has confidence in all of us to do the same.
Having a coach who believes in you and supports you has played a tremendous role in your career. What should people look for when they want to invest in a coach for themselves?
It's a good question, because that's exactly what I did. I did research for about, I think in total it was maybe 4 or 5 months, researching coaches and teams, and different federations. When researching coach, well, the biggest piece, which I just mentioned, was you want to see that this coach is a living example of what they're preaching. And not just having the body, not just having the look, but how are they living their life on a daily basis? What are they eating every day? Also having a balance, not just constantly working out and constantly measuring food, because really, if it's a lifestyle, then it's not going to create a tremendous amount of stress on you. You're going to be able to have a social life and go out with friends and meet up with people and not feel almost trapped that you can't do that. So I would definitely say look at their credentials, see if they have walked the stage themselves. I think that is a really, really big piece. See if they have, where have they competed, what have they brought to the stage. Ask any questions until you're fully comfortable in signing up with anybody. You definitely want to make sure, because for me, it was an investment. You want to invest your life in this person and really give it all you can and bring the best you can.
Yeah, great. What has been the greatest lesson you've learned overall, going from that girl who weighed 170 pounds to now being a pro competitor, one of the most elite in the world?
Thank you. The biggest lesson, I think it has to be honesty. Learning to always be honest with yourself and honest with the people that are in your life, whether it's people that are actually in your day-to-day life or it's people online. And as you know, we've met online, and I just think it's so important that if you do mess up, or you ate too much peanut butter, because we all know that has happened before, just be honest with it. And one of the things that Fatima did teach me in my first year of training for my first show was it is okay to make mistakes, and we are human. So that was a big piece for me that I realized back in 2011, and I've taken it forward not to be so hard on myself, because we do make mistakes, but those mistakes always lead to a better outcome. So when you make mistakes, it might not be good feeling at first, but at the end of the day, that's where the lesson is.
Yeah.
So you have to be thankful for those mistakes.
I agree. You just mentioned about CrossFit, so and I read that you are also into CrossFit. That is also getting quite big here in Europe. Can you explain a little bit about what it is?
Sure. Yeah. Let's see. CrossFit is there's so many things I could say about it, but it's basically you're you're testing your body to the max. It's a combination of 9 different sports. So you're using plyometrics, you're using your body weight, you are repping out until you cannot do anymore. It's incorporating kettlebells, balance, also speed using Tabata, which has been proven to really speed things up for you and be a great way to burn calories in a certain amount of time. It's an adrenaline rush, really. I like how it's picking up everywhere, because that is when I found my most of my results, and it's enjoyable too. But by the time you're done 30 minutes of CrossFit, where did the time go? So you're doing different things, incorporating maybe skipping, kettlebells, you're lifting, box jump, Turkish get-ups, any kind of move that maybe isn't traditional, but you're moving at different paces and speeds. It's always challenging your body. That's the thing about CrossFit, is that there really is no tap out. So it's you against you in the greatest form.
If you could go back in time to when you just started getting into fitness and spent a few minutes with your old self, what would you tell her?
Oh, no one's ever asked me this. Oh, what would I ever say? I think what I would probably say, and sometimes I think I need to be reminded of this still, is that even though, sometimes you work so hard and it's 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and maybe you don't see the changes yourself, but they're actually happening. So the biggest thing I would say is if you're on track with eating clean and you're on track with working out, and maybe you don't notice in the mirror because our perception can be off sometimes, just keep going. Don't question the process. Have faith in the process and just continue going forth because you will see the results. It just they happen so subtly and they're so small that it's so easy to look and go, you know what, I've worked so hard. I ate clean. Oh, forget it. I'm going to throw in the towel. I'm going to eat a burger, whatever the case is. So I would definitely say if you know deep down in your heart that you're doing everything you're supposed to be doing, keep on going and don't stop.
What role has your environment played in your transformational journey? Were they supportive? Did you face any resistance?
Okay, so well, one piece of my environment that has been extremely positive is my move to Vancouver, BC. I traveled here maybe, I think it might have been, maybe it's been a long time, over 13 years ago. And from the first time I came here, I noticed there were people that were 65 running down the street, people biking in the pouring rain, um, women with children in their buggies running together, doing yoga in the park. And it was the environment I wanted to surround myself in because it's a constant reminder of there are no excuses. And I know personally for me, it's very easy to come up with excuses. Oh, I have to do this, I have to do that. And so coming to Vancouver was a huge positive for actually my fiance and myself because we're surrounded by it and the opportunities are endless. So that's been great. Um, there will always be somebody that will question when you're trying to make a transformation because it's change, and not everybody likes change or understands change. But I would have to say, for the most part, it was extremely positive, and um, family and friends have been very accommodating, especially during competition prep, understanding that maybe I have to measure my food. They don't mind that I'm taking out my scale, or that I maybe am bringing my own food and we're at a restaurant. Um, and that to me is extremely important because those are the people who are invested in my dreams as well. And it's encouraging. It's the extra boost that you need in this because it's an extremely hard journey to do, to continue, and to maintain.
Many people struggle and try out all sort of diets and supplements, but somehow it just doesn't seem to be working out for them. What advice would you give to those who are struggling?
Hmm. Well, I've been that person who probably tried every diet out there, the cabbage soup diet, you name it. The truth is they don't work because you may go on that diet and lose your 5 to 7 pounds, your 10 pounds to get into your bikini or those jeans or whatever the case is. But if you don't carry over healthy habits that will translate to your life every day, the weight is going to come back on, and it's not a lifestyle. So and that's why starting with Eat Clean Diet really helped my whole transformation because it made me understand the principles behind what I was doing. And one piece that during my journey of losing that 40 pounds, I was always focused on losing the weight, and my fiance said, "Don't focus on losing the weight. Try focusing on you're doing this because you want to live a long life. Focus on the health aspect of it." And so that really flipped a switch for me. So when I was eating or making food choices, I did think about that. I thought, this isn't. If I want it to stick, if I want it to be a lifestyle, I have to start thinking about the inside. And if I want the outside to change, they will come, but it has to be internal first.
Great.
So definitely make a lifestyle change, or it's just not going to be a permanent change.
You will be making your pro debut later this year. How are you preparing for the show?
Oh, yes, I am. I think we're at about 150 days or 149 days until then. So what I'm doing now, I've officially put myself back on season. I feel like I need to be a little more strict with myself right now. So what I'm doing is I'm preparing by I'm at the gym almost every day, 6 to 7 days. I have a set workout schedule, and it was changes monthly. And my coach Fatima, she is following my progress and changing things as need, so that I can bring the proper package as a professional for the first time. Um, so right now I'm on a 5 day split of lifting, and I do have a set number of minutes of cardio I'm doing per week. So my schedule is slightly flexible, but I would say right now 6 days a week I'm there. But it's not too long, maybe an hour, hour and a half. And so I'm lifting, and I'm trying to build some upper body so it can balance out. You've probably seen my legs are they're quite big compared to my upper body, so I'm now trying to just create a little bit of a balance.
What are some of your other goals for the next few years?
Oh, other goals. Oh, there's so many goals. um, well, I always my main interest really is just if something I do is inspiring somebody, I just want that flame that gets ignited in someone just to continue. So I truly just love writing about my experience, and I also love to hear about other people's transformations. So writing about health and fitness has always been a huge passion of mine, and that's something I definitely would like to continue to do. Um, I like to continue writing for Fit and Firm magazine, which I've been writing for the last little while. I just want to continue working on the best version of myself, and just not perfect, because I don't believe that there is a perfect level of where you can be, but I believe there's always improvement. So just with myself, I'd like to create more of a consistent off season, a consistent on season, just create a 365, and Fatima is my role model for that. Um, Magazine publications are always a goal of mine, and as you know, Oxygen Magazine is a true love of mine as well. So to make a few more appearances in there and maybe a cover one day, that would be definitely some goals of mine.
And I'm sure you will do great.
Thank you.
Is there anything else you would like to share with your fans?
Um, I've just been thinking a lot lately, just going from off season to on season. And I guess that the biggest piece for me is that if you're trying to make a transformation into a healthy lifestyle, just know that if it's hard at first, you're doing something right. And it's going to be hard, definitely no question about it. The process is hard, but the reward is it's indescribable. You cannot describe the benefits that you get, even just with the consistency of eating clean. Your mind, the clarity that you have, um, is worth any type of vanity goal out there. Um, I just believe that once you get things going, life becomes a bit better. So, just want to really encourage people to find an activity that you truly enjoy and stick to it. Stick to it and be consistent. And you know what? The truth is, you can eat clean, but you can still have some treats here or there. And I think that's the biggest fear that I hear from people is, well, I don't want to give up chocolate, or I don't want to give up my favorite pizza from this place. You don't have to just give up everything. It's moderation and balance as well.
Where can people learn more about you online?
So I have a athlete page, and it's listed under Theresa Jenn Lopetrone. So they can find me on my athlete page. I'm also on Twitter, and it's at Theresa Jenn. And I'm also on Instagram. I've actually been using Instagram quite a lot lately to journal my daily food and my workouts leading up to my pro show, so people can see the transformation. And that's at Theresa_Jenn.
Okay, and I will make sure to put all the links below this video.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome. I would like to thank you so much for your time, Theresa.
Well, thank you so much. This was like a highlight of my day, just to find this out and to be able to be interviewed with some of the most inspiring women that inspired me. I can't explain what an honor it is.
It was an absolute pleasure to have you on, Theresa.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. My name is Miriam Khalladi, and I will see you on the next episode of Real Talk, Real Women.